So I think it's fair to say, I think after last night's performance against TEOFIMO Lopez and Josh Taylor, I think it's fair to say that TEOFIMO Lopez is definitely a hot and cold fighter. So when he's at his absolute best, right, he can literally beat anyone. Like he beat the likes of Lomachenko. He's now beating Josh Taylor. Like at his peak, he can give a virtuoso great performance, but when he's at his worst, he looks very beatable, and we saw that against obviously he did actually lose to George Kambosos, and obviously he didn't look too great against Sandor Martin. So this is a very hot and cold fighter. The downside to that is obviously like we just don't know what TEOFIMO Lopez is going to come like what TEOFIMO Lopez is gonna turn up. So is it gonna be the TEOFIMO Lopez that schools Josh Taylor and actually wins decisively against Lomachenko, or is it gonna be the TEOFIMO Lopez that gets beaten by Kambosos and actually gets outboxed by Sandor Martin? But the upside to that is, as a fan, it is quite exciting because you don't know which TEOFIMO Lopez is gonna turn up. You literally don't know who's going to turn up when that fight happens. So I think to some extent you can see why people would get annoyed with it. Because you just don't know if you was a betting man, how can you bet on a guy that's so inconsistent? But at the same time, it does make it more exciting as well from the perspective of a fan. Like a fan would love to actually see a fight where like you just don't know what's gonna actually happen. Like there have been certain fighters like that. An example of that is probably Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield was a very hot and cold fighter. 1 minute he would perform great, and another time he wouldn't perform so good. But he was an all-time great fighter. There's other fighters as well that were like that. They would perform great in one fight and then they'll perform terrible in another fight. And from the perspective of a fan, obviously, it's quite exciting to actually see this unfold, because on his best day, TEOFIMO Lopez is literally a world beaten and elite. But on his worst day, he can actually get beat by anybody. But the upside to that is that his fights are can't miss spectacles. But the fact is, you just don't know who's going to turn up. You don't know if it's going to be like an amazing virtuoso performance like he just done against Josh Taylor, or if he's going to get beaten by a nondescript opponent that no one even knows about. So to some extent, you can argue, because of his inconsistency, he's going to be like he definitely is one of the most exciting young fighters in boxing. He's only 25 and he's already he already became undisputed in one weight class, and he already won a title in another weight class. So at such a young age, even though he lives a tumultuous life and he's got all these issues and problems, you can't deny his pedigree. I mean, this guy is legitimately an elite pound for pound fighter. He's legit. Like, you can't deny it. So just tell me what you think below. What do you think about this? Do you think it's a good thing, or do you think it's a bad thing? I personally, as a fan, I think it's a great thing. But if I was his manager, or if I was somebody who was his promoter, it would probably make me nervous. I just don't know what TEOFIMO Lopez would turn up. I think it's a long running tradition of boxers that are like very talented in the ring but are very troubled. It's almost like an archetype at this point. Another fighter that's similar to that is obviously John Jones in MMA, and obviously there's been several others like Mike Tyson, and I think that archetype actually fits TEOFIMO Lopez well. I mean, he's that type of guy, very troubled outside the ring, but when he can get his focus together, he puts on great performances. I think to some extent Mayweather is like that, but he's not inconsistent. Like, he's very consistent in the sense that, yeah, he's had some performances where it looked like he wasn't, like against Maidana, the first fight, he did not look like himself. But apart from that one fight, generally Mayweather's on point, but he does seem to have a lot of turmoil in his life as well. But with TEOFIMO Lopez, he's very hot and cold as well, which makes him, in my opinion, more exciting. But tell me what you think below. Do you think it makes him more exciting, or do you think it just makes you more nervous to want to watch him? I think it's can't miss TV, because you don't know, you just don't know like which Teofimo Lopez is going to turn up. Is it going to be the world beater, elite pound for pound fighter, or is it going to be a fighter that's looks very beatable and pedestrian? Tell me what you think below, and like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace.